Hello and welcome to Youth Assembly. My name is Sylvia Ishebe. Okay, it's the second day of March 2021. How is the new month treating you? I hope all is going well. On my own end, we're good. All right, so our Youth Assembly today, we are looking at the need for better security in Nigerian public schools. How can security be maintained in the schools, in public schools, so that students are safe when they go to school? So I'm not alone today. I am with Mr. Abolarinwa Olatubosu, who is a security expert. Welcome, Mr. Olatubosu.
Thank you.
And I also have all the way from Zamfara State, SP Muhammad Shehu, who is the PRO to the Commissioner of Police, Zamfara State. Welcome, SP Muhammad Shehu. Okay, so children deserve to learn in a conducive environment that is safe and healthy in order to enhance learning and academic performance. You would agree with me. Now, this is not the case for many less privileged children in Nigerian public schools in some northern states, as there have been series of mass abduction of students in government schools by armed bandits. So who is in charge of securing the schools? What can be done to end kidnapping of students in public schools? And this morning we saw the release of the GSS students, the schoolgirls from Jangebe in Zamfara State. And we have the SP Muhammad Shehu to tell us more about the details coming from Zamfara State and hopefully how to secure this area so students stay safe. Okay, so Mr. Valarinwa, since SP rather has left, but before he comes, maybe you take a look at what is happening so far in terms of security of students in public schools. What do you make of all of these abductions and the releases that we witnessed today?
Well, it is unfortunate and ridiculous at the same time. The trend, the intervals between the trend is an embarrassment, is a national embarrassment, and it is appalling. It is becoming a problem for parents, and it is becoming an eyesore for the way the world is viewing us on how we handle the issue of kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, and abduction, and particularly a decadence targeted at making children's life hell is not painting us in a good light to the rest of the world. I wonder how parents in that part of the country feels. The parents whose children were picked up and the parents who still want their children to be educated. Is beginning to look like as if the northern part of Nigeria is no longer safe for children. And that is an unfortunate development.
Interesting. So today we saw the release of the schoolgirls, 279 of them, and while some are still not released. So what do you make of the release of them, and going forward, what the government can do to ensure the safety of the students in the schools?
Okay. The picking up of them and the release of them is a welcome development. I want to congratulate the parents who received their children. I also want to stand with parents whose children are held back for whatever reason. I only hope that we are not seeing the repeat of what happened in the case of Leah Sharibu, when the Muslim children were released and the Christian one were kept behind. I hope the government is going to rise up to this and ensure that the case of Leah Sharibu is not repeating itself in this scenario. That is one. Secondly, I also think the issue of paying ransom to release captives, if that is the case, like the president suggested about a week ago, warning the governors not to partake in exchanging money for these abducted children, it shouldn't be a threat that will continue, because it's making the abduction and the terrorism industry become profitable to terrorists and empowering them to have money to buy more and to do more. It's not the best way forward. Almost every past president has come out to condemn such acts. So we don't want a repeat of that, and we want government to remove this issue of finance that is attached to it, so as not to be encouraging kidnappers to do the same. I also expect the presidency to come out stronger in their condemnation and their proactive action, not reactive this time around. I will give you a very good example of what happened during the last general election in 2019. Ballot box snatching became the order of the day in most of the polling units and is disrupting election. So the president came out at the eve of the last general election and ordered that anybody that snatched ballot box should be shot at sight. I think the signal, that sent the right signal, and I think it brought that incident to minimal. Children are more important than ballot boxes, and we expect a more and stronger words from the presidency, from the governors, from the Senate, from the State House of Assembly.
Well, the president has condemned the attack and said that they will be dealt seriously. Talking about these bandits or these kidnappers taking children here and there from schools in northern Nigeria. So what do you make of that statement? And going forward, we've seen people, the federal government calling on state government and local government to make security arrangements already for their schools. While the state government are passing the buck to the federal government. So in your opinion, whose responsibility is it to secure schools in the state? The federal government or the state? Or even the owners of schools? Who do you think?
Responsibility, because the joint government, federal, state, and local, all collected one form of allocation for security in their respective jurisdiction. The only thing we are not seeing is how they are putting that to use. I still go around schools and as an expert, and I'm appalled by the level of security in our school, both private and public.
Let me tell, somebody is actually trying to comment. Desmond, John Desmond, you said you want to join the conversation. Please drop your comments on this issue, and then we'll take your contributions. And of course, if there are questions you want to ask, you can ask. And to you all who are listening, please send in your comments and contributions. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Latibosu.
All right. So now, what we're now saying is that all government that are responsible for protecting other important facilities needs to be rediverted or reviewed to incorporate security for schools into their activities. The banks and bullion vans are still being protected. Pipelines are still being protected. It's a matter of priority. If children are important to us, then we need to make arrangements for security in all schools now. This is the time to do it. And this is a challenge to the Nigerians. What are doing? Preschools is very closer to a police division, police post. What are the state commissioner of police doing in redeploying their men to ensure that school environments are protected? The PTA are also investing in buying chairs, building school blocks, buying school buses for the school. It is time for parents to redirect their priority to do what is important and ensure that their children are safe. I, as a parent, if my children are not safe in a school environment, I'm not going to allow my children to go into that school. I will work with other parents to ensure that the school environment is safe for my children so that I don't end up with stories that touch.
Mr. Latibosu.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you said parents. What is the responsibility of parents at this point? Taking away their children from school and they don't go to school, or what are you saying exactly? Please elaborate.
The first responsibility of every parent is to ensure that their children are safe, whether it's in church or in the house. So parents need to come together. Parent Teachers Association need to visit schools during school operating hours and do assessment themselves and to their local government chairman or state governor and call them to question and call them to order on what they are doing with the security vote they get in their children. It is a proactive step that needs to be taken by parents. White men and the state governors too needs to do something with the security votes they are getting to ensure that children are safe. We don't need to say it louder than this. If your children are not safe in their respective schools and churches, what happened on those Sotito Red Church, where a child was abducted without a trace till today, and what is happening in northern part of Nigeria, that's starting from Chibok, Jangebe and Dapchi and everywhere, shows that all is not well with security of our children in their schools, and more needs to be done. If the school has to be shut down.
Okay. Well, why the armed bandits are targeting school children in particular? Why do you think so?
Well, I want to quickly correct a notion. I don't belong to the school of thoughts that degrade terrorism into banditry and headsmanship. If the combination of your activities look like a terrorist, you are a terrorist. So don't let us deceive ourselves by doing this name branding and name changing to suit the government and to hurt the people. Let us put that aside. The terrorists are kidnapping children and killing them. Whoever you call bandits are doing the same. So let the conscience of whoever that is changing the narratives prick them now to know.
Why do you think these people are targeting, or armed bandits or terrorists, like you said, are targeting school children in northern schools?
Because they want to target the country where they can bring the country to their knees. They look for soft targets. You will notice that they don't go to higher institutions to abduct, because the type of children, the type of people in higher institutions have capability of fighting back. They can riot, they can demonstrate, and they can do a lot. They are adults, but they want to go to a soft target. And you see, the quality and combination of what we call this soft target is still becoming questionable. You cannot move 100 cows without raising a dust, without anybody knowing where you were and where you passed. So it still bothers us how 300 plus children are being moved through a bush, and the government, all arms of government and security agencies don't seem to know where they are. But a sheikh on his own is able to travel, track them down, speak to them, take pictures and video with them. It put a question on the integrity of the government and security agencies. And until we begin to look at that and the quality of all these activities, we may be in for this for a very long time if we continue to deceive ourselves.
Okay, so some prominent Nigerians have been clamoring for amnesty to these bandits in order to end insecurity in the north, even as school children have become targets of the bandits. So what's your opinion on the call for amnesty for them?
Well, we can as well ask for amnesty for every criminal in Nigeria. Amnesties has been given indirectly to Kabiru Sokoto after his atrocities. It's not in court. He almost 8 years now since he's been arrested. We don't know anything about his trial. And we have a lot of other criminals too that are going about. So if we want amnesty for bandits who are making life difficult for our children, we can become the first country in history that will give blanket amnesty to every criminal. Maybe let's try it for 1 quarter and see how it goes. Or we can declare a state of emergency, do what the president do to ballot box snatchers by asking the security agents to shoot them at sight, right, in order to make the children safe. Why should we pamper criminals? That a government did it before, does that mean that every government must continue with the same trend? The former head of state, General Abdusalam Abubakar, came out and told us that it is an option, but it is not an option that we should hurry into. There's time when you wait the stick, and there is time when you bring in the carrot. We shouldn't muddle the two together. Why should somebody commit crime against the state, and the next thing we're talking about is giving a question before I drop? The amnesty that has been issued before, how well is it affecting the security of lives and properties in Nigeria today? We need to ask ourselves those questions. The criminals that came to drop the Dapchi girl, that were paid ransoms, and that were given amnesty and a safer way to escape. What did we get back from that negotiation and arrangement, before we start thinking of giving the criminals that we don't know who they are, where they are, an amnesty? If you want amnesty, come together, let us your name. When the Niger Delta boys were being given amnesty, the first thing that was gathered about them was intel. There were intelligence, there were pictures, there were addresses. So they removed the anonymity from them. Who are we granting amnesty now? Anonymous people that lives in the forest, that we don't even know whether they are Nigerians or they are foreigners. Should our national security integrity be rubbish like that and we fold our hands? Should we be paying amnesty to foreign headsmen like they said that are disturbing us? No, it's not the best way to go. And okay, I'm not in support of granting amnesty to ban name.
All right, before we even get to the point of amnesty and paying ransoms and all, the security of schools in public schools of Nigeria have been a subject of national discourse. And even when the pictures coming from the schools where abductions happened surfaced online, people were worried. Things like basic fencing wasn't even there. What do you think needs to be done to ensure that schools adopt necessary security measures to protect the children? The school first, before even the government and state government and federal government. Mr. Latubasu, yes. Okay, while we wait for Mr. Latubasu to reconnect and join. Okay. Are you here now? Okay, please don't forget to send in your comments, whatever you think yes, the government, the state government, the schools have to do to protect children in public schools. Please send your comments and drop, and then we'll take it. And if you have questions, you can also share. Okay, over to you, Mr. Latuboso. So I was asking about the pictures circulating on social media, how basic things like fencing isn't even there in some of the schools in the north. What do you think needs to be done to ensure that schools adopt the necessary security measures to protect their words?
That is where the anti-corruption agencies needs to come in. We want to know what the government is giving to them for infrastructure in schools and for security votes. Some heads need to roll in all those areas. So if ESCC and ICPC are listening, this is the time to start calling some local government chairmen, commissioners of education and commissioner for finances to order and let us check their books. What they've been doing with the money that is voted for school development. We find out that the federal government, the state government, and the local government have not been providing budgetary allocation to take care of basic fencing and gate to secure schools, despite the fact that we've been in terrorism almost 13, 14 to 14. To call some people to order, it's time to make some people go to jail for this and send the right signal to those who are there that they need to do that. And I'm also going to repeat what I said earlier on. Parent Teachers Association. It is time. We go around on the street and we see you buying buses worth 8 to 10 million naira for schools. Sadly enough, even in private schools, we can see buses with inscription of PTA on it. It is time to think about where you divert your money into now. Divert your money into the security of lives and properties of your children. There are security companies. There are things that we can do for your children to make your children safe, to help track your children if they go missing. Stop paying lip services to the issue affecting security of your children while they are in school, while they are going to school and coming back from schools. We've seen in the recent time that even the school bus drivers have become a danger to school children. Some school teachers have become a danger to school children. Now we have terrorists and what we call bandits, carrying our children, releasing some and keeping some back for the reason best known to them. Let every aspect of governance, from home to government, come together and do something about this. We can't leave it for the government alone. The quality of governance in Nigeria is still poor and appalling. So anybody who leaves the security of their lives in the hand of a government may be deceiving him or herself. Let it go all around. Let every ant come on deck to make sure that the lives of our children are safe in school and at home.
Okay, so it's unfortunate we can't reconnect anymore with SP Mohammed Shehu, who is the PRO to the Commissioner of Police, Zamfara State. He can't join us right now, but hopefully, as he keeps trying, we'll be able to have his opinion or his take on these issues and even the situation from the Zamfara State Government House as we speak. But Mr. Olatubosu, so the kidnapping has become somewhat like a norm and is a regular occurrence, yet it does not look like much is being done to secure schools. We're seeing the release of these children, yes, but securing the schools. What measures should the government put in place to bring an end to these incessant attacks or kidnapping of the school children as we conclude?
The first thing we need to ensure is that we don't make the business of kidnapping look lucrative by ensuring that we don't give money to them. As soon as you give money to them, you are not only boosting the kidnapping business, you are boosting banditry, robbery, and terrorism as it is. I mean, so starve them of money, like so that they don't have money to carry out their evil activities. Like I also said earlier on, it is not the duty of federal government alone. It has to go right through the whole hands of the government to ensure that children are safe. Even estate association where children live to needs to do something about it. And in the community where the level of education and exposure to issues surrounding security of lives and property is very, very low, like we have in some parts of Nigeria, North and other places. Let us carry out a kind of sensitizing activities, reorientation in the area of security of lives and property in all these schools. Let us educate teachers and parents, churches, and other organizations like voluntary and non-voluntary organizations on how to ensure that children are safe. We have the Boy Scouts, we have the Man O' War, we have Boys Brigade, we have the Girls Guide. Let us incorporate all these people together at this time to ensure that lives and property are safe. It is easier, it is cheaper. And government shouldn't be fighting the group that come out as a splinter security forces. If the civilian joint task force is good for the northeastern Nigeria, then government should talk to the ESN to secure their environment rather than bombing them. Government should call on OPC and try to modify them into what can be useful to them, where their own manpower cannot reach. We can't be fighting them if they are standing up to secure their environment. It's looking one-sided if civilian joint task force are allowed to carry AK-47 and OPC can be shot at a police station when they arrested a criminal and brought them to the station.
But Mr. Olatubosu, you agree with me that crime prevention is a collective responsibility. So in these communities where the schools are located, what people like the JTF that you mentioned, what can they do extra to make sure that their community is safe or the schools are safe while they await the intervention of the federal government and even the state governments, you know, working hand in hand with them to ensure their safety?
What I expect every state government or local government to do now is to employ unemployed parents. We have many of them in all this. Employ the unemployed parents and let them stand guard at the school. Give them the ability and the capability to raise alarm and communicate.
No.
Let us train all the...
If I can get you right, are you saying employ the parents to be security people in the school?
All the security guards we have in our houses and estates are unemployed parents of somebody. So if giving stipends to parents who have been chased away from farm and couldn't go to farm and are staying at home, if giving them stipends to have about 10 or 15 of them for daytime and nighttime, is what we need to do. Let the PTA, local government, state government consider that, rather than giving that money to bandits who are going to use the money to come back and harm us and our children again. Then parents too need to come together. Don't leave everything to government. You do from vigilante group when your television and generators are being stolen in your area. Now your children are being stolen in the schools. Come together and form a vigilante group in and around the school area. And I'm sure the equation on ground is going to change for better.
Okay. Okay, yes, hopefully it changes for better. But moving forward, for other schools in other states, even private schools, schools in other states, in Abuja, what can they do to man up security in their regions, in their schools, to ensure that what is happening does not spread to other states?
That is too late. It's already spreading as it is at the moment. Activities of bandits, or whatever name we call them, has been spotted in Niger State recently, and Abuja shared a common border with Niger State. So the issue of spreading is already out of it. They are here. It's just a matter.
Hello, Mr. Latubosa. Okay, before he comes back in, yes, we are talking about the need for better security in Nigeria, the Nigerian Public Schools. And yes, he's making a good point at this point. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Latubosa.
Hello. Yeah, what I'm saying is that in order to change the narratives and the equation of all this, local government education authority in cities like Abuja needs to jump to action. The permanent secretary, the minister for FCT needs to jump into action to make sure that proper inspections of schools are carried out proactively to ensure that the schools are well secure. And any school that is not secure, the DPOs should drive around the school and check the telltale signals around the school. If you enter a school now and you discover the gate is open and unmanned, make the headmaster or the principal liable. Call them and tell them what they need to do and penalize them, sanction them if needs be, so that the teachers and the staff of the school will know that in addition to their responsibilities in the school at the moment, taking care and ensuring that the school is secure is part of their priority. Parents should also do the same while the governments are doing their own. If we need to divert the attention of the NYSC corps introduced to take care of this, let us do it. It is not about using guns and gunpowder to secure the school. It is about using the power of information and communication technology to secure the school so that a proper and timely alert will be raised and there will be a rapid response to prevent children from being abducted and abused.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Olatuboso. Great points there that you have mentioned. And hopefully action will be taken and this will come to an end in no time short. Mr. Olatuboso is a security expert. And yes, earlier we had SP Mohammed Shehu, the PRO to the Commissioner of Police Zamfara State, but he couldn't continue because of network issues from his own end. But we are good. We are happy that we were able to bring you on board today to discuss about this issue that has become of worry to so many, for Nigerians, the need for better security in Nigerian public schools. You can drop your comments. The conversation continues on www.clickniger.net. It is not over. So we will react to your comments and questions when they come in. My name is Sylvia Ishiwi. I'll be back on Monday for another interesting edition of Youth Assembly. But I'm here tomorrow, and so you'll get to see me. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday, and please stay safe and keep your children also safe. Bye for now, Mr. Obalariwa.
Thank you.
All right. The show was produced by Hafsat Isa and, of course, supervised by Ehi Ohiane.